Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Stories, Wisdom, and Recipes Holiday Extravaganza. Thanks to ECTV and Mark McGlory for making it happen. This program, 2013-2014, features the Children's Library Jazz Ensemble, as always. Ralph Ziepeli, the Director of Elf Management for Santa P. Claus. And my name is Lawrence Pugliese. Before we get into a really interesting discussion, and I should mention maybe you want to send the young ones off into another room so that you can avoid any sort of long-term psychological scars. But before we get into that conversation, let's set the mood with a great tune from the Children's Library Jazz Ensemble. Santa Claus is coming to town. Marco Marcinko is my conduit to this great group of musicians. So Marco, why don't you introduce the group?
Well, once again, Larry, Ralph, a pleasure and an honor to be here associated with this wonderful Christmas seasonal event, a holiday extravaganza by far that rivals shows like Charlie Brown Christmas, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, White Christmas starring Bing Crosby.
Lady Gaga and the Muppets.
Lady Gaga and the Muppets as well. You're right, Larry. Let me introduce the wonderful musicians here.
I just have to, wait, excuse me one second.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know I'm a man of great respect in the community, you know, in the entertainment biz. I work with the finest. I'm the MC of the Grand Jazz Festival. I mean, you can't get better than that.
No, it's a high esteem.
High esteem. And one of the people you bring in here is sitting there reading the paper. I mean, a little bit more respect, perhaps?
I can't believe this. Paul, what are you thinking?
I'm sorry. I didn't know we had a speaking part here. Barry, is that it?
Barry.
Jerry.
You know,
It's Larry.
Larry, I'm sorry, and
Ralph.
Okay.
Zeppelin.
Zeppelin?
You've been doing this show for 8 years. Learn the talent.
I apologize, really. It's been a very stressful, year work-wise. You know what the show business is like. I mean,
you think this is Sinatra Jr.? Is that what you think, Paul?
You're with the Lenos and the Conans doing your TV talk shows, and you don't have to worry about what we have to deal with out and, working the circuit.
Are you in the union or
Northeastern
something?
Pennsylvania.
Is this a union gripe? Am I hearing now? Is he not getting
Well-
paid enough? All right, you know what?
I don't think he meant the circuit. I think he meant the circus.
Maybe we need to edit this part out of the show. I don't
Well-
know. I'll have to talk to Mark. This is a little uncomfortable for me. Next year, I want to seriously consider maybe bringing another bass
Well,
player. Okay?
I'll take it into consideration.
All right.
Barry, no, Larry.
It's Larry. Lawrence, actually.
It's the holidays.
God's
The
sake.
paper's going away. I love doing this, really. I do. Look, I dressed.
You did. It's a nice
Yeah,
tie.
thank you.
Yeah.
And the paper's going away. I'm going
All
to
right,
just,
all right.
I'm right on. I'm
In
on
the
target for the
spirit
rest
of
of the
the
show.
holiday season,
Please,
Christmas time and
keep
all
me in
that.
mind for next year.
All right.
Okay.
All right. We'll see. I'll think about it. Anyhow,
Television audience, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Paul Rostock on the electric bass and newspaper. Mr. Tommy Mustachio Hamilton on the saxophone. And last but not least here, our newest member of the Children's Library Jazz Ensemble, Mr. Tyler Dempsey, the young Tyler Dempsey, joining us after years of working in the library, reading music book after music book after music book. We thought we'd take a chance and bring him into the show.
It's great to have him.
And yours truly, Marco Marcinko. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all those wonderful things to everyone out there. Lawrence, back to you.
Well, one more question for
Oh.
you. That green and polka dot friend of yours on the keyboard. What?
This
can you
guy
tell me?
right here?
Zipoli was asking me about it before we rolled tape.
Would you like to, Hammy, say something.
Nice. Nice.
This is Hammy the pig.
Yeah.
Little Hammy. He travels everywhere with the Children's Library Jazz Ensemble. Hammy, how you feeling today?
He's losing it, folks. He's losing it. Thank you so much, Marco. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we'll hear some more great music and some shtick. You didn't know you could shtick with the band as well. These guys are professionals, top shelf professionals. We'll hear more music from them again very shortly. A few more tunes. Right now, though, the focus of this tradition is our conversation with Mr. Ralph Zipoli. As I mentioned at the top of the program, he is in charge of elf management for Santa P. Claus up at the North Pole. And we haven't talked with him in 2 years. Last year, the station ran the episode from the previous year. So we're going to catch up. Ralph, nice to see you.
Same here, Larry.
Now, first of all, I want to ask you,
holidays.
why weren't you able to sit down with us last year and discuss some of what's occurring at the North Pole?
We had a lot of labor issues last year. As you know, I'm in charge of a few different unions, locals, but they're demanding more, and they went on strike.
The elves went on strike.
The elves went on strike.
Wow.
We did recoup, but many of them, the local 501 went on strike. They're the toy makers. So they went on strike. And
Did it get violent?
oh yeah. But thank God for the Imperial Snow Guards.
I recall. That
Now we
was
did
Santa's
lose a
headsman.
few elves, so Elfina had to pump out quite a bit. So we had to force feed her.
Now we got to get everybody back up to speed on Elfina and the Imperial Guard.
Yeah,
So
the Imperial Guard.
They are Santa's, top-notch,
They're the police force that
Right.
police the North Pole.
non-human, correct?
Well, they're
Or non-elf.
Well, no, an elf has a great deal to do with them, to be quite honest.
Their
with you.
genetic makeup, yes?
Well, an elf controls them from within inside. But those are very special elves, and I'll get into that later.
Okay, gotcha.
I just did a rough drawing of the inside of an elf. Just
Why don't you show it to the folks at home? Let me move this out of the way, closer to me.
he's controlling the Imperial Snow Guard. And I don't know if you can see.
He's inside the Imperial snow glass.
Inside the-
That's pretty incredible.
And he could,
Choke lightly,
yes.
sever,
sever, yeah.
sever right arm, poke eyes, blow to the head, accept bribe.
Yes.
Oh, okay, so a little bit of everything. I love it. I love it. These are all buttons and instruments that can be worked by an elf. Now, that you mentioned you lost a couple of elves during the strike.
Yeah, there's the snow guards in action.
So
yeah.
he's inside of there.
Yeah, he's
Gotcha.
inside of there. So we've got probably maybe 100 of these, so.
What do they cost a unit, approximately?
Well, I'm not quite sure, but let's just say we build them from all recycled material.
All recycled material?
Yes.
You mentioned you lost some elves during the strike, and that might be of benefit to me right now, because what's in that? Isn't that elf right there?
Oh, this is elf jerky. This is our, as you know, this is our one of our main staples, and it's one of our marketing commodities that we have, and it's
is
elf jerky.
Genuine elf meat. A little
It's,
cartilage in there to add some texture.
Well, as you know, the elves are primarily all cartilage.
Well, I don't want to go too far off. These are delicious, man. Is that
We do add a few spices in because
Yeah.
elves are a little rough now and
a
then.
little gamey? Elf is a little gamey. Now,
Excuse me, Larry.
yes.
Would you mind for the band?
Oh no, please take some.
Be right back.
How about some wine?
Sure. Thanks.
Go ahead. Feel free. Just bring the wine back, please. Keep the jerky. It gives me agita. Anyway, so we were talking about why you weren't here last year, because you had some labor management struggle. Everything is under control now. The Imperial Guard stepped in. That's where we left off.
Well, I can't say everything's under control. I have been over all the unions, all the locals, since I've been there. But there was, because of the strike, Elf Rico. You familiar with that name?
Elf Rico. Didn't he steal one of the Mrs. Clauses
Yes.
way back from Santa?
He's been trying to get a piece of the action with the North Pole for many years. So maybe this is one of his moves to, take it a step further. He started his own union with certain elves, and it's local 505, which are the Special Forces elves, and the mechanical elves, which run these robots. Yes.
Wow. So if he gets in with those elves, he can control the Imperial Guard,
Right. And they're all,
which Santa then would be.
and they're all on the take.
shape.
So yeah.
They are in the take.
Yeah, they're all on the take.
The elves, that work
the
Imperial
the
Guard.
Imperial Snow Guards, yes. So, with that being said, it's a little difficult sometimes to run a smooth operation, but we try, and we realized that we had to develop a special forces elf, such as these elite elves.
to ride
ride.
the midnight run.
The other elves weren't hacking it. We were losing too many of them. They would, they'd fall off.
Well, what's the midnight run? I mean, a lot of people might not know what that is. That is the
Christmas Eve, that's
right,
it.
Right.
And your regular little elf sometimes can't take the cold. He'll freeze. And, frozen elf is no good on the run. Now he's okay when he gets back because he's elf jerky, but he's no good that night. And when you lose many of them, elves will go into a house. You may have a hungry dog in there.
Oh, really?
Oh, they love the elf meat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. It's like those bones that they eat.
Thank you so much.
How was it? Okay. Just remember, elf jerky is an elf's last Christmas gift to the world.
Oh, a little infomercial going on here.
But so we developed these special force elves, and it became quite difficult for Santa to land on every roof of roughly 4 billion homes, all right? Very difficult. So we realized we had to speed up the process. So we built them a much huger sleigh, 2-story really, and we have probably 350 of these special force elves. And what they do is, Santa doesn't land on the roof anymore. Maybe about 300-400 feet above it. They rappel down the rope. They land there. They've got their bag.
So hovers.
And
It's
they-
hovering.
Yeah, boom. They land on, and they're trained. They're trained in all different aspects of self-defense. So if a dog comes up to them, they can easily take him out with a crowbar.
A crowbar.
Yeah, no, I
They're
just
equipped with
knock-
crowbar.
yeah, and they can put them to sleep also.
Wow.
In fact, I have a rendering here of our special force elf.
Special Force Elf.
Yeah.
SPE.
Now, as you know, our traditional elves from years ago, it's just amazing how they've changed over the years.
This is an old time.
Yeah, like say 10 years ago, 15 years ago, our traditional elf, middle-aged elf, was a
Middle-aged elf. yeah.
funny little nice person.
Face looks familiar to me.
Right. Who ate cookies and
To
muffins.
the camera so the folks
and,
at home can see it.
And they were useful in their own way. And they've changed. And then we had them change quite drastically.
This is a transsexual, perhaps,
Yeah,
elf?
they would,
Pre-op, I'm not sure.
yeah,
Post.
after work they would.
After work,
yeah,
okay.
just decide to change genders for the evening.
Very liberal.
Yeah,
Great.
Right. Well,
Progressive.
that's when the disco by Alfarico opened up. Now you have a disco and you have 400 like male elves there. Somebody's got to dress up.
Someone, well,
Yeah.
didn't you one time tell me, if my memory serves me, that elves actually are, I don't know if this, I think this is a dated term. There's a better term now, but aren't, so excuse me for using this term, aren't elves hermaphrodites?
Right. Well, as you know, Queen Elfina lays them.
Well, you got to qualify
An
that.
egg.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
And I hope you remember Queen Elfina. She's with us still. Still with us. She's fun-loving. We can't get her to give up the luckies, but she's still producing quite a bit. As long as you feed her enough raw fish and eel. She's into eel now, electric eel.
We've really come a long way
That's
here.
why she keeps her hair curly with the electric eel.
With the electric eel? The haircut. And by the way, you're noticing behind me, right, straight from the Great Mandiba's memorial service, the fake impaired hearing interpreter, Mr. Cha-Cha. We appreciate his services, though I don't know what these symbols or signs are suggesting, or who they really do serve. Thank you.
But getting back to the transition of elves over the past
Mandiba.
100 years. And then it's developed. It's turned into. Well, this is just the special forces elves. Okay.
What a good-looking guy.
Yeah, they're well trained and they prefer to wear.
To the camera, so the folks can see it. I've seen these. So that is the new breed, if you will, of elf.
They'll never be. This is like a person that attends West Point.
Right.
Okay.
And they're repelling
These are like
off of this new
Right. These are like special
two-story
forces or SEALs.
sled.
Okay? And they won't all make. You can't expect this little dork to.
Right.
He won't.
Right. But he
gonna
maybe can make the toys.
He's going to stick to making a little choo-choo train. All right.
Right.
Little wooden choo-choo train. And this guy's going to
Deliver.
repel. He's going to repel, and he's going to land in that chimney. He's going to.
He looks
gonna
somewhat
go
like the
now.
transsexual elf, if I may. I mean,
Well, they all look alike.
oh, they all look alike?
Yeah,
Really? They're
they do.
similar in their physical characteristics?
Well, yeah, I mean they're elves.
Because that could be
They got-
interpreted as
they're-
some
all their
sort of
bodies are cartilage,
a
like an
racist
ant.
statement. I mean,
No, nothing like that. I don't mean anything like that. They're elves.
Oh. That's all you got to say. They're elves.
Yes, they are. They're elves.
I don't know. Do you have their best interest in mind, Ralph?
Do I?
Yes, do you?
Probably not, because it's all about profit.
And Santa.
He's so out of the picture. He's so out of it anymore. It's not even funny.
How old is he now?
He's about 312, I believe.
312 in dog
Yeah.
years?
That's why we.
Human years.
That's why we built the two-story sleigh. He sleeps downstairs most of the time.
You know, you mentioned that to me, and I read an article in the Yentney Reader. I was doing some research on this new sleigh, and rumor has it, in the last couple of years, people like, and he has a special cabin in the way back. He hangs out. He's not even checking out what's going on.
It's sort of like Elvis with his jungle room.
Yeah, right. He's not even monitoring where the sleigh is stopping and what's going on.
Female elves go in there, you know.
And he hangs out, like he has people like,
you know what I mean.
Snoop Dogg and Willie Nelson hanging out with him back there, doing God knows what.
Yeah, Willie Nelson was with us the last trip, really.
Willie was there?
Yeah.
Santa, Willie,
Santa,
Snoop
Willie.
Dogg. What the heck is going on in
And
that
Alfina
cabin?
also. She came with us on the trip.
Alfina.
It
So
was the first time she ever decided to come on a trip with us. She insisted. And
First time?
First time ever, all these years.
Can we see a picture
And,
of Alfina again?
Sure.
Now,
First time ever. And she she partied quite a bit, and she got a little piffed. And she decided to rappel down. She decided to rappel down a few roofs with the help of the special forces. And she went in with them, and the only problem is she dropped an egg or two.
As she...
Yeah, she dropped a few eggs, really, in homes, and we had to try and gather these all up, but I think we missed 2 or 3.
So what happens then?
Well, what happens then is somebody's going to be faced with either some kind of adoption of an elf, because they're going to come out and they're going to be very hungry. You've seen them.
Talk about Christmas surprise.
They're hungry.
You have an elf hatching in the living room.
They're sweet in a few years, but when they first come out of that egg, they're a little hungry. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're a little hungry.
He looks familiar too.
We usually have to file their teeth down in 8 weeks, and then we put them to work. You know, and their nails also.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they lost a couple eggs, Queen Alfina did, when she rappelled down, first time on the trip, the midnight run with Santa.
Right.
And Santa, you're saying, is really a background figure at this point.
Right.
Are you troubled by that? Like, are you in charge then? Are you in charge, Ralph Ziepeli, ultimately?
Well, I'm back home. I don't go on the trips. It's a little too chilly for me. I don't like, 1,000 feet up in the air,
Right.
And it's too cold for
Well,
me.
what about Mrs. Claus? What's going on with
I
her?
wear tank tops most of the time.
Do you?
Yeah.
And I noticed, you like medallions. Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry, scusi. Scusate.
This isn't exactly a medallion. This is the North Pole highest medal you can achieve.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
sort of like-
I read about that.
That's sort of like the Congressional Medal of Honor, really. Here,
You
But
were
it's-
given that
yes,
by the North Pole people?
by
People
Santa
of the North
Claus.
Pole? By Santa?
By Santa Claus. He was
Wow.
also in his right mind at the time.
He
so,
was.
Yes.
Not too much rock and ride. Does he like rock and ride too, like the elves? Or what's
no,
his preference?
He likes Jack Daniels most
Jack
of the time.
Daniels, straight
Yes.
up bourbon.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Go Santa.
He does.
Now,
And
Santa.
you know he's back with
Mrs. Claus.
Mrs. Claus.
Which
no,
one?
It's Carmela Claus again. Remember
Carmela
from
Claus.
years ago?
Wasn't she from Carbondale?
Yes, she was.
So Mrs. Claus from Carbondale again. Carbondale is in the picture.
She's back in the picture, and
Is Mayor Justin, what's his name, Taylor? Is that his name?
yes, he had a deal going.
Did he lobby for that to occur?
Well, no,
He's a mover and a
because
shaker,
Once she landed on the North Pole, once she was chosen, she didn't leave, and she wasn't, put out to pasture or anything like that. Alfrico gave her a job in his nightclub as a dancer.
Whoa.
If you can,
Whoa.
if you can believe that. So,
Yeah,
there she is. She was, she danced fairly well.
Yeah, there's some.
And the reason he brought her back is, like I said, the trouble with elves is multiplying, and she can help quite a bit.
Everybody has a
As you can
tire
see.
iron up there.
Because
or a crowbar, or
Yeah.
what have you. It's a violent place, the North Pole, it seems.
Oh no, not at all.
No?
No, not at all. It's we like order. But anyway, she's back in the picture, and Santa's quite happy. Other than he doesn't get really, the meals that the old Mrs. Santa used to make.
I just got a
Mrs. Claus.
text. I just got a text. Mayor Doherty was asking why I didn't mention him. We mentioned Mayor Taylor from Carbondale. I'm getting all mixed up here, and then we didn't mention Mayor Doherty. He's asking me why we didn't mention him.
We like his Christmas light show.
Do
we
you?
really do.
Or the one at Naog?
Yeah, we
Yeah?
like the one at that's really nice.
Can you see
But
that
you
when
know
you're
what?
up in the air flying over northeastern Pennsylvania? Is that a prominent sort of?
Yeah. Our guys
Spectacle.
repel down. In fact, he's probably this bag is loaded with some of the bulbs because I forgot to mention that our elite force here works for Elf Rico, who is taking over portions of the North Pole after so many years, and
That's Elf Rico?
that's Elf Rico.
What a stud.
Okay,
What
that's
a
Elf
stud.
Rico. That's his nightclub in the background.
Marco looked just like that 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. He did, before he got married.
Yeah.
Then he let himself go.
Yeah, now he's playing with a little rubber pig. Okay, but anyway,
Oh, jeez. The wine is starting to kick in, it seems.
I forgot to mention that Elf Rico looks at Christmas a different way. He figures if you're going to go down that chimney and bring the kids all their nice toys, we want something in return. So they come back up and they look for jewelry.
Jewelry.
Yeah, mostly jewelry.
Costume or like the authentic stuff, diamonds?
No,
Yeah,
diamonds and
18
stuff.
karat
Yeah,
Italian gold.
they're trained in that too. They got their glass, and they also liquor, good liquor and stuff like that. So they load up on that also.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, the elves themselves, the standard elf is a rock and rye.
The
kind of
standard
sort.
elf. Well, that's an issue we can get back at. The standard elf demanded 2 cases of ginger snaps a week.
Right.
Now they eat ginger snaps for everything.
I love
yeah,
ginger
yeah.
snaps.
Well, okay, but maybe
I
you got
do.
part elf in you.
Maybe I do.
But they loved it. They wanted 2 cases of ginger snaps. We only wanted to come up to a case and a half, and we also they wanted 5 gallons of rock and rye, where we only gave them 3. So there's an issue there. It still isn't settled. Elf Rico takes care of his own people, his own way. I believe he treats them well because all the jewelry they take, they give to him, and he fences it.
And he has his own local now.
Yes.
And you have your local or locals.
Locals. Well, I've got the local 501. That is the little building elves, the laborers, and I've got 502 also, which is the professional elf, like our dentists. We have our dental elves that we sent to dental school.
Right.
Well, online they went to dental school.
Right.
Yeah.
So you are the president of those unions, the steward of those unions, or you're the liaison between those unions and Santa Claus? Because I'm trying to understand your position here. Are you management or are you labor?
I'm both.
You're both.
I'm
So you
both.
are a liaison.
I'm both. Yes.
And Elf Rico, is he more pro-labor or pro-management, would you say? Is he more for the rights
He's
of...
pro Elf Rico.
He's pro-Elf Rico.
He's pro Elf Rico. He's in control of the robot, the Imperial Snow Guards. He's in control of this elite force.
So if it got into his hands, Christmas would not be what we know it to be.
I believe that's Elf Rico's ultimate goal, to take over Christmas in his own way and maybe do away with Santa Claus.
Wow.
Now we're going to try our best to. I've got a few, ideas up my sleeve, so we'll see.
Well, let's let the audience, if they haven't changed the channel already, think a bit about all the stuff that we put out there while we hear another great tune from the Children's Library Jazz Ensemble. This one, I believe, is Christmas Time Is Here. Again, you're watching the Stories, Wisdom, and Recipe annual holiday extravaganza here on ECTV. Thank you for tuning in. Wonderful. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the Children's Library Jazz Ensemble. And I'd like to give them an opportunity for a couple of minutes. We're going to come back to the table with Ralph. He has a couple of more things, ideas to share with us, bits of information to share with us. But first, what are you guys thinking about what you're hearing here? Any insights, questions you'd like to throw out there? And I know we're going to hear Tommy's annual update on his relationship with that strange elf that wants his tool.
Well, any insights on things that we've heard this year as opposed to in past years when we had the honor of being in the presence of the great Ralph Zipoli, the human liaison to the elf force at the North Pole? I got to say, I don't think anyone in the band knew about the rappelling and the marine-like, seal-like ranger effect that happens up there at the North Pole. We didn't know that there were Imperial snow guards. Are they snow guards?
They don't plan the trip with us now.
Well, we're thinking here, when you think of Santa's workshop and the North Pole and Santa Claus, the great elf himself, you're thinking like a whole other scenario, and you're bringing a reality to this 300 and some year tradition that's incredible, and I'm just blown away by it. I don't know how Tommy feels, or Tyler.
Nice to see that
he's
Paul's not
relatively
reading the paper
new.
anymore.
He's only studied about things like this in books at the library.
Oh, the kid?
Yeah,
new
the young kid in the hat over here. He's only studied about it.
Great percussion work, though, young man.
Well, wonderful, right?
Yes.
Wonderful.
He's
We
a
train him
talent.
well at the
Yes.
library. We train them quite well.
Drumming for dummies.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know, Tom, do you have
Well,
any-
Tommy has his story, I know.
Well, folks, as you know,
He's got the
if you've
running.
been following this great Christmas show over the years, you probably know that I got my flute from the elf. When he came to my house, he had the silver flute, and I took it from him, and that kind of made him a little mad, So every year he comes back on Christmas Eve to my house and tries to take it back. Like one year, he held my daughter hostage. Another year, I had him sick my dog on him, and the dog got a taste of him, and she'd like to see him come back. But the last Christmas Eve, I figured, well, he's going to be coming again tonight, so I hid the flute under my bed in its case. And Christmas Eve came and went, and I looked, see if my flute was still there. I opened the case, and this is what I find.
Whoa! What is that?
What am I going to do with this thing? He shrunk
Whoa.
my flute
He shrunk your
and
flute.
turned it black.
That's a beautiful piccolo you got there.
It's not a piccolo. It's a shrunken flute. It's
That's what they
I
all
don't even know
say.
what to do with this thing. So hopefully next year, I'm going to have to figure out some way for him to.
Can you make
know.
a sound on that thing?
So-
Could you toot something
Not
on
really.
that?
It's like,
Whoa!
I don't know what to
That's
do
all
with
he
it.
shrunk.
So, folks, if you have any suggestions how I can, restore my flute back to its original size.
Maybe there's some people out there that could tweet in a response.
Right, where
could,
would they do that? Is
they
there
could
any-
do some Twitter work and maybe hashtag something, short flute or small flute, something like this.
How I
would
they could
appreciate
tweet it
that,
in
yeah.
tonight.
How I compensate for my small flute, things of that nature?
Well, Larry, we're not going to speak for you. I mean,
No, I wasn't.
that's between you and your private time.
He's getting back at me. That's good. I left that door
Hammy, you have
open.
anything to say, Hammy?
That was good. In the spirit of Christmas, let's talk about, yeah. So, the saga continues.
The saga absolutely continues, yes.
You would prefer having no flute as, compared to that?
Yeah, I have not played it since it shrunk.
The innuendo is beautiful.
It's great,
Yes.
So hopefully next year things will be better,
Yeah, email. Do we have an ECTV email? Do we have one or anything? Do we have an ECT?
Television@gmail.com.
electricitytelevision@gmail.com if you have any insights as to how Tommy could deal with his shrunken flute.
Excuse me, Gary, I'm sorry, Larry.
It's Larry, this guy here. I don't understand, Marco, how you talk to him.
Please, I need the job. But can't we have our distinguished guest intervene in this elf issue? I mean, he's
Camera. This guy really doesn't know protocol. Off camera with these things, please.
I'm not going to give him the mic again. I'm very sorry, Lawrence.
No more wine.
I apologize to
Last year, 2 years ago, you brought the guy with the accordion, drank all of our wine.
Yeah. Well,
right?
he was not welcome back. You saw what happened to
Yeah,
him.
right,
He was
right.
not asked to come back. You know, the swearing and the bar
I mean, he
room
could play a
chatter
mean
that he brought.
bass. That's the only
funny.
thing. He could play a mean bass.
He was
this
funny.
guy,
He
though.
does play a good bass,
Oh,
though.
he's incredible. Anyway, the Children's Library Jazz Ensemble here every year. They're awesome. Happy to have them at the drop of a hat, really, they come. They're very busy musicians and artists. And Ralph Ziepeli as well comes in from the North Pole, and he's going to tell us a bit more about what's going on there. Ralph Ziepeli, in case you just tuned in, you can't find anything else to watch on television. He is the director of elf management for Santa P. Claus. He's a liaison between labor and management. And I wanted to ask you, why no doctor elves? Why none of the elves become doctors? Don't you need doctors, or don't they have the capability?
That's true. I never did bring that up.
That was asked by a viewer from last year. They
I
wanted me to
never
ask
did bring
you
that up. We try and train many of our elves in dental work, and because of the obvious. Everyone knows an elf, after about 50, 60 years, lose all their teeth. All they're eating is ginger snaps and rock and rye.
Right.
So,
Right.
as you know, we replace the teeth with, they go out throughout the North Pole and they gather animal teeth. And walrus being, probably the most popular. But the dental elves are pretty good now. We've got like probably 50, 60 dental elves to take care of it. We do not have a doctor elf. And I'll tell you why.
So you don't consider dentists doctors? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, no. They are doctors, but we don't have any injuries that really necessitate any kind of transfusions or, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Other than myself or Santa.
Because they're, again, a cartilage.
They're all cartilage.
Basically, the elves.
They're all cartilage, yes.
Malleable, bendable.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you do? So when an elf gets hurt, when a part of him is hurt, we just have the builder elves that work on little toys and little wooden trucks and stuff like that. Just build them little pressure treated braces and stuff, and they walk around in them
Until they heal.
Until
And the
they
cartilage
heal.
heals fast, I'd imagine.
Oh.
Compared to bone.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, that's a sight, though.
Yeah.
Pressure treated, like,
Oh, it is. Yeah. Quite clumsy.
Yeah, it
And
seems-
and they little difficulty working.
What about in the past? You've told us that Mrs. Claus, various Mrs. Clauses in the past, have kind of abused elves.
Yes.
Because it's a tough life being Mrs. Claus.
Sure it is. You're locked in.
Yeah.
Your traditional Mrs. Claus was constantly locked in the kitchen and, had to cook for the big man. Cook and cook and cook. And sometimes she was just too lazy to send an elf out, maybe down the little deli, the greasy igloo, and to get like a piece of walrus or anything like that to throw in the sauce. So she saw one of her helpers close at hand, her little elf, and she'd amazing. She'd just snap her wrist with a big wooden spoon. He'd be out like a light, right in the sauce. Yeah.
And that elf is gone, or is that elf just injured and then has to be taken care of by a
That elf was consumed. That elf was
meatball?
That elf was sauce. Help make the sauce. Yes.
Make the sauce.
Yes.
Well, pork, beef, elf,
elf.
great
Yeah.
sauce.
The combination.
You need those meats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The three
We
combinations.
all know that.
So, that's. Did I answer your question there?
I think you did. Yeah, I was wondering if those elves could be treated in the same manner, but there's no treatment for those elves. They get thrown in the sauce. They're consumed.
That's just something that Mrs. Claus wants to do at that time. Nobody's going to scold her. Nobody's going to arrest her. There's going to be no penalty at Mrs. Claus. She can do what she wants, basically.
Well,
now he did get rid of her, though.
What happened to the old Mrs. Claus?
I think she lasted 3 years. Nothing special.
Was this Molly Claus from Greenridge, the hottie?
Oh no, not Molly. She ended up staying with Alfrico.
So Molly Claus is with Alfrico.
Oh yeah, she's
the guy who's trying to take over the unions and the labor. And,
right.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't have a picture of her. I'm sorry.
She was hot. I remember. She was hot.
Easy.
Oh, she was. I mean,
But
One of those beautiful Irish girls,
Yes.
women from
Yes.
Greenwich.
Yes, she was from Greenwich. But
And she's with Elf Rico on the North Pole, in his condo in the North Pole.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's got homes all over, so I mean,
Yeah.
you know. But
I heard Sarah. Is it true that Sarah Palin wants to be the next Mrs. Claus? But you have to say Merry Christmas. You can't say Happy Holidays. That's one of her,
well, I don't know
requirements.
about that. All I know is I've seen her letters. Dear Santa, I would like to be Mrs. Claus, in crayon, written backwards and stuff. He's
In crayon written backwards?
Yeah. He's not too impressed.
No.
No. And
No.
he doesn't go for the glasses, her type of glasses. He doesn't like them.
No.
Yeah.
So it is true. Sarah Palin does want to be
Mrs. Claus.
Mrs. Claus.
Yeah, she does.
Wow.
I personally have no problem with it, But now that old Mrs. Claus that you spoke of, she's when she's done, it's not like he sends her out to pasture or anything like that. As you know, there's an old Mrs. Claus home
Yeah.
where they're treated fairly decent. Okay, they get like a bowl of oatmeal and stuff a day, and
Great.
And they're also given jobs. So I think she's into snow removal. Yeah.
Snow removal.
Yeah.
Now, what about Carmela? We mentioned Carmela. She's the present-day Mrs. Claus.
Yeah, she's the newly.
They took her out of the home and brought her back in.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Or not. She didn't have to stay at the home because Elfrico set her up. Once she worked for him as a dancer, he gave her a nice little place.
Alfrico's
Well,
really
it was a pretty big place because she was a pretty big girl.
Yeah. She did
Yeah.
seem pretty big. A lot of
Yeah,
bust,
and
I suppose.
she was also a very good mechanic, so she'd work on his BMW all the time.
His souped-up BMW
Yeah, and his
snowmobile.
Jaguar. Yeah.
Now, Elfrico seems to be a presence and a menace to a certain extent. We're going to talk more about him, I'm sure, in subsequent episodes of
Yes.
our holiday extravaganza with Ralph Zipoli, Director of Elf Management for Santa P. Claus. I'm Lawrence Pugliese. You're watching ECTV, and hopefully you're enjoying the program. We've been doing this for a number of years. It's a pleasure to be with you during the holiday season. And I've been, over the years, lobbying you hard, myself and some of the guys from the Children's Library Jazz Ensemble, and people, outside of the direct taping of this program over the years, realize we have an in with you. So there are names that we every year try to get you to put on the naughty and nice list to bring up to Santa. And I want to start lobbying you now. And I know the band too wants to share, what is on who is on their naughty and nice list.
You've earned my respect. Give me your pin then. Let me have that.
Yeah,
pin.
would you take
I'll
that?
No problem.
So now my naughty list is really long. Now I have a lot of self-loathing, so I'll put myself on the naughty list. I'm naughty. Yeah.
Well, you were late today.
I was late, and things of that nature.
That's not naughty enough.
That's not naughty enough?
But you are getting just the regular briefs for.
Just regular
yeah,
briefs?
So we're
Okay.
saying already.
Okay. I don't know what Marco's doing, but he's crawling. How much of this wine has he had? Not sure. Oh, he wants some of the elf jerky. Yeah, he's had a lot of the wine. He's got the munchies for the elf jerky. So, who else on the naughty list? There's so many. I don't even know if I want to waste my time with the naughty list. But I do have somebody I want on the nice list. And it's a little physical. I have to make sure Mark is ready for this. It's a little physical, visual sort of thing going on here. I'm stripping right now.
We're losing viewers.
We're losing viewers. Wait till you see this hairy guy. No, I'm not going to take off clothes. But here's my nice list. I bought this shirt in 1989 from a street vendor from the Young Socialist Alliance in Columbus, Ohio. I remember this visually. Oh, I'm going to take the mic off for a second. This is my nice list right here. Can you see that, Mark? You got that?
No, sir.
This is from 1989.
Wow.
Madiba. Yeah. Nice list. I don't need to put anybody else on there. Real man right here. Real human being. All right. Now, I'm going to take it over to the Children's Library Jazz Ensemble and hear who they have put on their naughty and nice list. We'll start with Marco Marcinko.
Well, each year you ask us this poignant question, naughty and nice, nice and naughty. And, Santa makes these decisions ultimately. But in my opinion, I must go each year and never forget about her. Lindsay Lohan.
Every year.
Every year. This girl is on my nice list. She acts naughty, but I'll tell you what.
That's
nice
why she's
girl,
nice.
Nice, yes.
Yeah.
Nice, beautiful girl. And the media should give her a break. Let her do what she needs to do. She has stuff to do, so let her do it. So I would say, yeah, she's on my nice list. On the naughty list for me, I think this gentleman that was interpreting, doing the sign language in
At Nelson Mandela's memorial service.
at Nelson Mandela's memorial service. I think that he was.
There he is again.
Oh, look at this. I think that he should be on the naughty list because he wasn't even signing the right things.
No.
Like, in other words, when President Barack Obama said, "We love Nelson Mandela," the signing that he actually did was something more along the lines of like what a
I'd like a tuna
first
hoagie.
baseman referee would do.
I want a corned beef sandwich later.
Oh, is that what it was?
I wanted a Reuben on pumpernickel. That's what
He signed, "I want a Reuben on pumpernickel, toasted."
Yeah.
So I don't
And
think
that's totally disrespectful,
No, I mean, I just don't think the guy knows how to sign.
unless you like Rubens. Mr. Mandela probably would have laughed at all this, I bet. But
I want to say,
he's on the naughty list.
Yeah, he's on the naughty list. And to the audience that's tuning in, this show is extremely current. Each year when we do the holiday extravaganza here, we're very politically correct and we're extremely current
Incorrect.
and up to date. Did I say correct?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
you
I'm
did.
sorry. I meant incorrect.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Maybe I'll pass it over to Paul now. Check
Before
out
you,
his-
get yourself
Yeah,
into
before I
more
get
trouble.
myself in trouble, let me pass it on to Paul.
No more gigs in 2014.
Is it okay? Does he have permission to speak?
Yeah, we'll let him go. He's a talent. He amuses me. He amuses me.
Did I tell you what a pleasure it was for me to be here, Larry?
Yeah, you realize you're
I
not
really
getting
am.
paid, right?
My list is going to be a little more traditional, sticking with the true definition of naughty and nice. So for nice, Pope Francis.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
Huh?
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Pope Francis.
Pulled that one up. Oh, I'm
Breath of
sorry.
fresh air.
We can have the same answers, Tyler. You're new. You didn't know. And Lilo was going to be my naughty, in the traditional sense, because hey. But I'll have to maybe switch to Miley for naughty.
Miley?
Yeah, Miley Cyrus.
twerk.
yeah.
Miley Cyrus?
Yeah.
Twerk.
For the twerking?
Well, no, the twerking. It wasn't the twerking. No, there were other issues with Miley, but not the twerking. I can handle the twerking. In fact, usually at home, twerking is, part
Yeah.
of our Christmas Eve ritual.
Most middle-aged men had no problem with the twerking.
Who says I'm middle-aged, Larry?
I'm sorry.
Larry. Those are my two, and I'm going to turn it over now. Are we going to go in seniority or with the young blood here?
Give it to the kid.
Let's go with the new guy.
Yeah,
the
let
new
Tommy,
guy.
let Tommy
Give it to the kid.
wrap it up.
Well, you guys kind of put me in a weird spot because 2 out of the 3 people on my naughty list are in the band, and I didn't know they were going to be here today. So I don't want to name names,
easy.
but
Hold on a second. Wait a
know.
minute here.
Why are they naughty, these people? Why would you say they're naughty?
Well, I don't know. They did. I thought we had to dress, nice. We had to wear a jacket to this thing, and Marco's got kind of a short tie on and not really tucked in, and I don't know. It's not really how I would want to, present this group. We want to take this on the road, and now all these people are seeing, I don't know. That's beside the point.
All right, enough from the kid. Give it
I
over
didn't even
to
get to my
Tommy.
nice list.
Yeah, enough from the
I
kid.
didn't get to my.
Oh, let him go. Let him go.
Sorry.
See, he's being a bully too.
ahead.
See that?
Go ahead. I rest my case.
Okay,
That's this case.
let's start with the naughty. Larry, we've been friends for many years. Sorry, buddy, you're on the list, naughty list this year.
Whoa.
You were late.
Is it, is it because?
Why is Larry on the naughty list,
Yeah.
Tommy?
Well, we were standing outside with the door locked for a little bit today,
Yeah, we were.
out in the
yeah.
cold, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I remember that.
I was a little late. Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, so that's okay. My nice list is Doug Smith. Whoa!
Doug is a good man. He's also president of the Musicians Union, so I guess it helps.
Why? Because he provides you with work?
Yeah, exactly.
He does. And he doesn't give me a hard time.
He's just happy you show up.
Tommy's mellowed from, I think last time Tommy said the U.S. Congress was on the naughty list.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd keep them on there,
Yeah.
actually, yes.
Thank you, Tommy. Thank you. And now, can you get a shot of the elves that I brought with me? I brought 3 of my own little elves. Hey, elves, wave to the camera. Wow, wave to the camera.
Wave to the camera, elves.
They just want to eat. Take us home, Daddy. What is this strangeness?
They want some more of that elf jerky, I think.
Yeah,
They've been
I
drinking
gave
a
them
lot
some
of
jerky.
drinking a lot of the wine and eating the elf jerky.
Wow.
We're drinking the wine.
Oh, sorry. Grape
Yeah,
juice.
and that's what it's about, the youngins. But I hope that your youngins weren't watching this. They don't know what's going on. We have them listening to music and stuff. But it's nice having this show every year. We hope you enjoy it, and from what we gather, you do. People, strangers on the street at Lowe's, at a particular deli, the Giant, what have you, say, "You're doing the show this year on Washington Avenue." So thank you for that. We enjoyed doing it. And it just says a lot about Northeastern Pennsylvania. You're twisted. You're twisted, folks, for liking this. And, happy that you are, because we are too. Have a happy holiday from all of us here. And whether it be Hanukkah or Christmas, or if you've already celebrated Ramadan, Kwanzaa, or if you're, an agnostic and you just like people and celebrating in the community because we get a little closer together this time of year, whatever it is. Enjoy yourself and don't spend too much money and support public access television and the community in general. We have a great community here, so thank you so much for supporting us. And now we're going to kick it back to the esteemed Children's Library Jazz Ensemble. This is probably the last time you see Mr. Rostock playing bass, so enjoy it. Take it in. And they're going to play Feliz Navidad. Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Thank you.